When we are adding or subtracting fractions, we always want to make sure the denominators are the same. This shows us that the fractions are part of the same whole and contain pieces that are all the same size. So let's look at an illustration. So let's say this whole box is a whole, one whole, and each individual piece is a fraction of the whole, each individual square inside the box. So there are 4 squares inside the box, so each one of these are 1 out of the 4. Okay, so let's say we want to shade in one of them. So that means we have 1/4. But let's say we want to add 2 more of the shaded boxes. We want to add 2 more shaded boxes by shading 2 more in. So we got 1/4, 2 more fourths. Let me use a different color. So we have 2 more fourths. If we want to know how many we have total, we can add them together. You see, the denominators are the same because they represent the same size pieces in this whole, which are also called fractions in this whole, and we can add straight across the numerator. 1 plus 2 over 4, and that's going to give us 3 over 4, which tells us, as the image shows, that 3 out of the 4 are shaded. Okay, so in this image we have 6 boxes in this strip, so each one of the strips or the boxes are 1/6. They're called 1/6, each one of them individually, because there are 6 altogether and each one of them is 1 out of the 6. So let's say we have 2 shaded, right? So how many would that be? We have 1/6 plus 1/6, right? 1/6 plus 1/6, it gives us 2/6. And let's say we want to shade the rest of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 shaded. That's the rest of them. So just like we did, we added the 1/6 together. This time we're adding 4 1/6, and all we need to do, we keep the denominator the same, add across the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4/6 shaded in purple. How many do we have shaded in all? Well, we can do that addition by adding 2/6 plus 4/6. Remember, we're adding straight across the top because the denominator tells us how many we have total, but we want to know how many we have shaded. Shaded is the numerator, so 2 plus 4 is 6. 6 out of 6 are shaded. And that makes sense because when we look at our strip, all 6 are shaded. Okay, now we're going to work on some subtraction. So here are 5 pieces in this strip, and each one of them is 1/5. And I want to do this problem. 3/5 minus 1/5. What should I do? Well, looking at the strip, I can shade in 3 of the fifths and say, okay, what's going to happen if I take away 1 of the fifths? Well, that's going to cancel out 1 of the fifths out of the 3 that were shaded, and we're going to be left with 2. So these will go away, and we're only left with 2. And then if we do the arithmetic, we know that the denominator stays the same, and we just subtract straight across the top. 3 minus 1 is 2, 2/5. And we see that we have 2 out of the 5 left over. Here's one more subtraction problem without the images. 4/6 minus 7/6. So the denominator stays the same, and we got 4 minus 6 in the numerator. 4 minus 6, what's that? Well, we see that we're taking a big number away from a smaller number, so that means that we're going to get a negative number. 4 minus 6, if we look at the number line, we start at 4, and we subtract 6 by going to the left 6 units. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we landed on -2. So our answer is -2/7. Now you can try the knowledge check and see how you do.